Grab a cup of coffee and start your Sunday with Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life features stories to inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Every Sunday morning at 9 on the Talk of New York, AM 970, The Apple. Visit cyacyl.com.
Good morning. This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Being a mother today takes the strength and stamina of a superhero. The rewards are limitless, but so are the demands. Our guest today, celebrity dietitian Ashley Koff, says that moms need to regain their energy by taking stock of their own bodies and their own needs, and that chronic exhaustion and deprivation do not have to be permanent conditions of motherhood. Ashley appears regularly on national media outlets including Dr. Oz, Good Morning America Health, The Doctor, CNN, AOL, and E! She is frequently featured in national publications such as the New York Times, In Style, Reader's Digest, The Oprah Magazine, Every Day with Rachel Ray, Redbook, Women's Health, and Shape. Ashley's latest book is entitled Mom Energy, A Simple Plan to Live Fully Charged. Good morning, Ashley. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Ashley, we're going to be talking about mom energy, but after reading your book last night, I really feel that everything that we're about to discuss relates to women in general, because we seem to have this women, we can do it all and we're responsible for everyone and everything mentality. Would you agree with that?
100%. You know, I wrote this book for moms of all ages and stages, and I think there are, the unique aspect of mom is from the moment that you become a mom, and there are so many different definitions of that, you're giving your energy out to someone else. And I think that what you just hit on is, as women, we tend to take on the role of giving our energy out. But, I've had men, I had somebody ask me today and say, well, what about dads? Does this apply? And there are many common themes there. So I think really focusing on one's individual energy is a theme that we can all look to.
And I'm about to date myself here, but growing up, there used to be this commercial on television for a perfume called Anjali. And there was this, you know what I'm about to go into.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
there was this beautifully seductive woman who was singing about how she could bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan and never let you forget you're the man. And I think it was that type of mentality that got into women's minds, and it became this thing that we needed to be able to do it all, otherwise we were a failure. And when we want to make these types of changes that we're about to discuss, it's like declaring war on your family. They don't understand it. So how is it that we can regain our energy and put our needs somewhere toward the front of the line?
Yeah. I mean, part of it is I like to explain to them, and depending on the age of the kids or what their relationship or things like that, how much explanation we do can really vary. But, I like to explain that the end result of mom energy is that you are going to be able to better deal with everyone else in your life. And you're going to be happier and you're going to be healthier. And that's a win for everyone. And also, everything that we're talking about today is also related to the health of everyone that you love, everyone that's involved in your life. And, that moms are a huge role model for their family, for their friends, for their colleagues. And I think that part is also important. So it's not so much about declaring war, but it is about taking that, and it's also not about trying to achieve like some preset level of balance. They get 30% and I do, whatever. It's really about saying that I've got to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, if I say I'm going to put myself on hold for 15 or 20 years to raise my kids, all of my relationships suffer, especially the one with myself, and especially the one inside my body, which is going to be where we see the greatest risk in terms of our overall health.
Ashley, in your book, you talk about an energy imbalance. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, very simply put, and it's not just one. Inside of our body, so I use the term energy as an equivalent to health. Our body is very simply a series of energy equations. And so when we look at it that way, if any of those energy equations are not working properly, then we have risk factors. And so what we need to do is we need to correct those by simply giving the body what it needs.
Can we talk about those three dimensions in the energy equation that you write about?
Absolutely. What we want to think about when we're talking about the body is not just looking at a number on the scale. We all know people of different weights and numbers, and we also have probably experienced ourselves trying to say, oh gosh, I remember when I was that number and I want to get back to it. But a number doesn't tell us, a weight number doesn't tell us how our body's health is inside. It may give us indicators, especially if we're starting to put on weight and we're putting weight on in our belly area, which we know is a very unhealthy area to carry fat. But what we want to pay attention to is, in terms of body composition, making sure that we are making and sustaining our lean body mass. That's going to be our muscles that we need for daily functioning, but also to protect our bones, and not making fat mass. So we really have to look at the foods that we're consuming are going to dictate whether or not we're putting the body in the space of building lean body mass, or we're putting the body in the space of creating more fat mass. And so that's going to be really important.
Now, Ashley, let me just interrupt there for a moment. What types of foods should we be incorporating into the diet to accomplish this?
Yeah, I'll give you my baseline. At the core, any food as it's found in nature, so food in its organic whole food form, is going to be something that the body recognizes and knows how to use the nutrients from most efficiently. And when our body gets what it needs and recognizes, it fuels every system in the body properly, and it also doesn't deliver things into storage unless we consume too much of it at one time, which will be another point of discussion. So when we talk about what foods, the amazing part about Mom Energy is this is not a book that says only, you can't have anything white, or you only need to eat, you should only have, your plate should be half green, half yellow, half blue. It's really about choosing and making the nutrient the best quality choice at each of your eating occasions.
So you talked about food. What else goes under that dimension?
Absolutely. So another area we see with increasing frequency today, both parents and kids are taking dietary supplements. And one of the biggest dangers, in my opinion, is taking a dietary supplement which you take daily and having it come from things that the body doesn't recognize, or be like a processed food.
Ashley, by eating in this manner, would it naturally speed up our metabolism?
Well, the interesting thing is it won't naturally, so speeding up the metabolism is a little bit of a marketing idea or a concept that is not really that achievable, because even if you speed up your metabolism, studies have shown that you're doing it at such a slow increment that it will really affect you like in your 90s, in terms of preserving your metabolism there. What it's doing, though, is it is optimizing your metabolism. So it's giving you the metabolism that your body actually should have. It means that all of the gears in the body are working effectively, and that means that the body is going to be removing waste at an appropriate pace. It's going to be repairing itself at an appropriate pace, and it certainly is going to be avoiding storage, which in our body are fat cells.
So it would help to undo some of the damage that someone like me I've inflicted over the years with my yo-yo dieting, and I've really made I always believed my metabolism slowed down or sluggish because I was always in starvation mode.
Right.
So by eating properly, I will be able to optimize my metabolism.
Exactly, and I think so many people today are getting that message, and it's wonderful. I mean, we've been out there pushing it hard, that yo-yo dieting is so hard on the body and so ineffective over the long term. But the challenge is then you have all of these diet books, and it's exactly why I didn't want to write a book that is a program, or, what Mom Energy is not is here's what you do for the next 4 weeks, and it's either deprivation-oriented, or a lot of times a lot of these programs require you to almost step out of your life. That's not what we're talking about with Mom Energy. What Mom Energy is a book of strategies. For example, taking a Nature's Path waffle and putting a nut butter on it instead of putting butter and syrup on top of it. Just by making that exchange, you suddenly have nutrient balanced your eating occasion, and you will now have sustained energy for 3 hours, so you're not going to be an hour and a half from now tanked out and thinking that your body is hungry and thus put in more nutrients. So it's things like that it's very strategy oriented.
We've spoken about the first dimension, which is our body composition.
Yeah.
What about the second dimension, hormones? What impact do hormones play on our energy?
Yeah, really, really important one. So hormones, and we're starting to understand this more and more, hormones are the secret weapon of the body because they are our message system. So hormones are every single message that's happening throughout the body is related to a hormone. So it's how is our blood sugar, how is the sugar in our body processed? How do we feel? What type of, are we making fat? Are we making lean body mass? Are we stressed out and as a result depositing nutrients maybe where they shouldn't be? So many different factors for hormones come into play. And one of the things that many people don't know is that our sources of protein and our sources of fat dictate the types of hormones that we're making in our body and the health of the hormones. So one of the other areas that I focus on is you really need to be very clear about choosing organic protein sources and choosing more plant-based options, so things like hemp seeds or quinoa or nuts and seeds. And when you are choosing dairy, choosing organic dairy. And the difference is there is that when you don't get an organic dairy source, you are getting cows that have been injected with prematurely with hormones and antibiotics, and they've been fed things that in their own bodies may be altering their body composition, their own hormones, and that is going to translate into the product that you're getting. And that's really, really critical to pay attention to.
As far as hormones are concerned, if we implement or institute this type of diet, would it give us some type of an advantage to avoid having to take hormone replacement down the road?
100%. And actually, the book Mom Energy is for moms of all ages and stages. So we definitely address the perimenopausal and the menopausal stage. And the reason is that our hormones should naturally be able to be balanced out. They're not, balancing is not a static thing. It doesn't happen where they become 50-50 and you're done. The body's health is dynamic, our hormones are dynamic, but we should be able to keep them from having these huge swings that often require us to take other sources of outside supplementary sources of hormones. And one of the key things to understand is that foods, I mentioned hemp seeds earlier, it's the only food source of gamma-linoleic acid. Well, that hormone, and you might hear of things like evening primrose oil or blackcurrant or borage that people are taking as supplements, but when you incorporate hemp into your diet, you get that, and that actually helps balance out our hormones. When you choose organic whole foods, you don't get extra estrogens, and when you choose more plant-based options like your nuts and seeds, your beans, in Earthbound Farms, one of their organic power meals has beans, nuts and seeds, and is based in organic spinach. All of those things right there are making sure that our body processes estrogen in the appropriate way and eliminates the metabolites that we don't want to have, but retains what we do want to have. So that's 100%, that's going to be really important, as are some of the side effects of hormone imbalance. So, we hear all the time about the need to take calcium as we're, increasing need of calcium with bone density issues as we're having hormonal changes. Well, that can be avoided by eating all the foods that we just talked about, but when you do take it supplementally, looking at natural vitality for products that aren't going to just give you calcium, but they're also like their osteocalm is going to give you vitamin K, vitamin D, magnesium, so that we're not just putting calcium into the body and saying, hey, go wherever you want. We're giving it with the nutrients that say, this is exactly where I want you to go. I want you to go back to the bone. And that's going to be really important for you as well.
We're going to take a break for this week's Healthy Living Tip. When we return, Ashley is going to talk about the third dimension to the energy equation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Sapienza, board-certified chiropractic physician and director of Mecca Integrated Medical Center located in Fairfield, New Jersey. Are you or anyone you know experiencing low back or neck pain at this time? Poor posture is one of the major causes of pain in the body. Your spine and nervous system demand proper posture when both sitting and standing in order for the body to be pain-free. To attain proper posture when standing, you should keep your shoulders down and back and avoid forward head carriage. A good guide to proper standing posture would be to stand against the wall with your buttocks, shoulders, and head touching the wall with equal light pressure. When sitting, you should keep your spine against the back of the chair, elbows close to your body, knees level with your hips, and good support for your feet. Proper posture facilitates breathing, increases concentration and thinking ability, improves an individual's image, and helps to avoid health complications including slip discs, headaches, and back pain. Mecca Integrated Medical Center specializes in comprehensive, state-of-the-art, non-surgical treatment of back and neck pain. If you or someone you know would like a complimentary posture analysis and consultation with one of our doctors, or simply like some more information, please contact my office at 973-943-4300 or on the web at www.meccamedical.com.
Cetus Home Care Services is a non-medical home care company that assists you in caring for your loved one. Their trained caregivers provide the peace of mind that is important to you. Whether at home, in a nursing home, or an assisted living community, Cetus will help your loved one live a dignified, independent lifestyle. Cetus Home Care Services and professionals are as diversified as their clients. Call Cetus for more information, 973-746-0165, or visit cetushomecare.com.
Change your attitude, change your life in big, believe, inspire, grow. Salute the entrepreneurial spirit of small business owners, people who follow a dream, work hard, and make it happen. This week's spotlight is on Artware by You. Artware by You offers the best art-based fundraising programs that make raising money for your organization fun and easy. Artware turns original artwork and photographs into high-quality keepsakes. Build community spirit while raising money for your organization. For 19 years, Artware has served thousands of groups, including schools, churches, synagogues, daycare centers, clubs, teams, hospitals, homeschools, youth organizations, community centers, nonprofits, and others. Call Artware to learn more about fundraising programs and their outstanding tile wall programs used to commemorate milestones, anniversaries, building dedications, and to beautify your walls. Call 1-800-609-8337 or visit www.artwarebyu.com. Artware by You, where art nurtures individuality.
Health insurance costs have risen at an alarming rate. At the same time, coverage choices have narrowed. Supplemental insurance provides an employer with the opportunity to enhance its current health plan without adding cost or administration. From accidents to catastrophic illness to intensive care to unexpected death, VMN Benefits has the plan to meet your needs. Call VMN Benefits at 201-697-0203 to learn more about supplemental insurance. VMN Benefits, providing peace of mind for your employees.
Welcome back to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman, and our guest today is Ashley Koff. Ashley is the co-author of the new book, Mom Energy, A Simple Plan to Live Fully Charged. Before break, Ashley was talking about the 3 dimensions to the energy equation, and we've been discussing body composition and hormones. And the third dimension is regarding our health conditions. Ashley, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think it's really important for us to understand that when our body is out of whack on any level, if we're having aches and pains on a chronic level, if we're having sinus issues, if we're having dental problems, if we're having skin problems, if we're having digestive problems, any of those things are signals from the body. That is the body speaking to you and saying, I cannot take what you're doing to me. And it may also be saying you're doing something, you don't even know that it's wrong for me, but I'm trying to tell you that it's wrong. So what we need to really pay attention to is what has happened in the body. Why am I dealing with, and maybe we don't even know it, but are there low levels of chronic inflammation going on? And your doctor can identify that with a couple of simple lab tests. We've got our CRP, we've got our SED rate. Some people will have a positive ANA, which means that they might be tracking for an autoimmune disease. If we discover these things early on and we make changes to our diet and we make changes to our lifestyle, because it's not all just about what we put into our body, if we make those changes, then we're going to be able to keep these things, to heal our body, and as a result, as we're healing our body, also improve our energy.
Ashley, what I like in the book is that you incorporate a quiz to help us evaluate our energy level, and you've come up with 5 profiles for energy thief. Can you go through each of these briefly so that we can get a sense for where we may fit in?
Sure. I actually don't have the book sitting right in front of me.
Okay, so I'll take you through them.
Yeah, I was like, you can do that, but I mean, I know them, in the head, but just for ease, let's go through them that quickly. Yeah.
Okay. The medicine cabinet.
Yeah, so some people, and I'm sure we all know these individuals, are ones who are relying on their medicine cabinet, and it's stocked full of different things that they need to take to treat every symptom in the body. And the issue with that is you're missing the message. So when we treat something with a medication, and medications can be very, very important and essential, but when we treat something with a medication, then we have to understand, first and foremost, what was going wrong, what was the body trying to tell me. We were just speaking about that. And maybe if I do need the medication, I also need to then understand what are the side effects, so what else do I need to be doing. A classic example is a cholesterol-lowering medication. So somebody goes into their doctor and they find out that their cholesterol is high, and they go on a cholesterol-lowering medication, and suddenly, and they've made no dietary changes whatsoever, right? Or they've made no fitness changes or no stress-related changes in the body. So yeah, you may have lowered your cholesterol while you're on this medication, but it may also have hormonal implications in the body, and you haven't made any changes to improve your body's health, which is what the signal of high cholesterol in the body was in the first place, that your body was producing too much cholesterol or containing too much cholesterol.
Okay, how about the mom zombie?
Mom zombie. And you know, with mom zombie, everybody's probably been in this phase before. But the idea is if you're always the mom zombie, if for, you know, the 20 years of your kids' lives, you feel like you're just literally passing through without really actually being able to experience life, then that's really a key indicator. And a lot of times these are women who will say to me, you know, I don't want to consume caffeine, or I've come off of caffeine, or I feel like no matter what I'm doing, I can't get energy from my food. And we have to look at what's going on in your life that are energy deductors. They may not be food related. You may be missing out on adventure in your life. You may be, you know, spending way too much time in the evening on your BlackBerry or on the computer, or, you know, doing certain things that are not allowing you to unplug and recharge. With the mom zombie, I almost always look at their sleep patterns and really try to see, yeah, you may be getting 8 hours, but you may also be using a medication to get those 8 hours, or you may be waking up frequently throughout the night, things where you're not getting the best recovery.
The overworked and overscheduled.
Again, I feel like every single mom is going to say, oh, I totally relate to that one, right?
I fit into all of these.
Yeah, and that, you know, it's kind of, I always describe, you know, with Sex and the City, they said there's a little bit of every one of the characters in each of us, and I think that's probably a very fair analogy here. And I think with the overworked, that space of over everything, right? And, you know, this is really about the person who is not, they're so in it that they're not in a space where they're making choices. And sometimes that means a different job. Sometimes that means recognizing that there are seasonalities to your job. You know, if I'm an accountant, I'm not going to look for, you know, I'm not going to add on a lot of stuff in March. I'm going to just try to make it through March and do everything I can to reduce my stress. That's where my natural calm is going to, you know, with the magnesium is going to come in handy. So I think with the overworked sense is really about how are you making the choices? And, you know, in that space I talk to moms about things like, are you using your freezer effectively? So I use the Nature's Path waffles can be in the freezer, Earthbound, you can use frozen vegetables. Again, these means that you have them always available, but because they're organic, they're the best quality. So it's that idea of, you know, making sure that you have stuff available, even if it means you have to order Chinese food one night, or you're ordering pizza, or you're ordering something else. If you add your own vegetables to it, you're suddenly improving the quality of that, and it certainly makes leftovers a better quality option as well.
With the next one, you're entering my world, the chronic dieter.
Okay, absolutely. So, you know, people say diets don't work, and I don't agree with that. Diets do work, but the issue is with diets is at the end of the year or the 6 months or whatever the time frame is, there's going to be a spot where you're presented with a moment that is a challenge to the diet. And that might be either an emotional moment where you're like, I just want to have, or it may be, you know, the kids throw a tantrum, or it may be, I'm into astrology, it might be Mercury in retrograde where everything's going wrong, you know, who knows what. When that challenge comes, it becomes about whether or not you have learned tools that allow you to personalize a diet to your own life. And that's what I work on with my patients, and that's what I've translated into Mom Energy, which is, yes, you can, if a diet becomes a lifestyle plan, if it becomes about not just saying, I don't have this and I do have this, but if it comes down to, I have the tools to understand how to make the right choices, then sometimes we make choices that are less good. You know, sometimes we decide to overeat, but it doesn't become I overate yesterday, so now since I blew it, I may as well just give in and go back to my old ways of eating. So I think that's really the key space.
And Ashley, very quickly, the dead battery.
Yes. And I think, you know, again, all of us have felt in this space, especially, you know, if every single kid is sick in the house, your husband is sick, your partner is sick, and then suddenly you get it, right? And you're just done. And I think what we have to look at with a dead battery is we do need to recharge. And that when we're in the dead battery space, we have to say, obviously, several things were not working. And also, I seem to have missed a number of clues along the way because your body was definitely giving you them. Most of the time with the dead battery, I see someone who's got horrible digestive issues. So even if they are trying to now eat better quality foods, their body's not absorbing it. They're not able to get the good energy from there. So I'm going to start with things like a probiotic. Maybe I use Stonyfield's Organic Activia, or I use the Natural Calm to start getting their body to work. It needs a boost there. And the key thing there is to make that decision to give the body the best quality food in its simplest form, so that you don't, that dead battery doesn't have to start running at full force when it's only slightly recharged.
The book is Mom Energy, A Simple Plan to Live Fully Charged by Ashley Koff. If you'd like more information about Ashley, please visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on our site, listen to past shows as podcasts, read the digital magazine, and sign up for our mailing list. Ashley, thank you for a very informative discussion. I would love to have you come back. There is so much information that we haven't even gotten to.
Thank you. I would love to, and I look forward to hearing about what mom energy changes or exchanges you make as well.
Once again, the book is Mom Energy, A Simple Plan to Live Fully Charged by Ashley Koff. This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.